The memorial service for Enock Mpianzi, who drowned at a school camp, is on at the moment. The service is on in Parktown Boys. It will start officially at 12. The 13-year-old Mpianzi lost his life during a school camp at the Nyathi Bush and Riverbank Lodge in the northwest about 2 weeks ago. He disappeared when a makeshift raft he and other boys were on overturned on the Crocodile River. Our reporter Mahlako Komane is there for a preview. A very good morning to you, Mahlako. Give us a sense of occasion from where you are.
Yes, indeed, Desiree. We are at Parktown Boys High and the memorial will be starting at 12 o'clock. We are here at the school hall. This is the memorial service, quite correctly, of the young man Enock Mpianzi. It is going to get underway at about 12 o'clock. We expect MEC for Education, Mr. Banyaza to speak at 1300 hours to arrive here and also speak on that. And I know that earlier on in the week there were negotiations between Brixton Primary School. Understand that Mpianzi obviously hadn't necessarily been a scholar here, though he was registered here, but he had attended that primary school. We are expecting representatives from that school to also be here as well. And I think it will be today where we'll get an indication of sorts as to what are the plans of the family. We also understand that the family will also be in attendance here today. And I think from then on we will know what is happening in terms of your funeral arrangements. As we know, last week, this past Saturday, they buried young Nyathi, who also drowned in his school at Laerskool Becker in Magaliesburg. But we have Mr. Steve Mabona from the Department of Education, and I'm just going to be asking him the rundown of the program, as well as, we did get a bit of a briefing last week as to how far investigations have gone, because the department did appoint that independent law firm to look at what happened, because there were lots of stories surrounding what actually transpired at that camp in Brits at the Nyathi Lodge. Mr. Mabona, thank you so much for talking to us. Can you just please tell me, obviously we're going to start at 12 o'clock, what can we expect either than from the family to speak, as well as members of the community here at the schooling community of Parktown Boys?
Indeed, the MEC will be speaking. And they will also have the principals of both Brixton Primary, because that's where the child was last year. And you will have actually the friends that will be coming from Brixton as well, because you will remember that here at Parktown, they only spend a day. And they actually, you need to understand that they spend most of his time in Brixton. So the principal of Brixton will also be here. And you will also have, friends that will be representing now Parktown. You'll also have, the Reverend that will be giving us a sermon. And that will be, it is not a long program, as you will understand. It's learners, it's an environment where you don't want to keep them for a sizable time. You need to manage that. As you can see, the hall, they will be sitting, on the floor. So you need to take cognizance of that. But we are looking forward for a tribute that will be respectful.
And can you just please tell us, obviously last week young Nyathi was also buried. Are we any further in the investigations there? Are we going to get anything in terms of what transpired there? He also drowned. And how far are investigations as well into the Mpianzi matter as well?
Look, both cases, goes ahead. The investigation continues. As you will understand that we've said we're not going to rush the independent inquiry, that is the law firms. Give them time to do their work. We don't want shortcuts. We want, when they present reports, it should be something that is going to be assisting us, the family, and the entire nation, to say, let's close the chapter. So what we're expecting probably is, like as the MEC has already indicated, on the Laerskool Becker, you need to make some pronouncements, but you will be guided by the preliminary report that he has already indicated that he has. So we will then have to await for the MEC to guide us on that one.
And also maybe Mr. Mabona, Latisha Janssen, the learner from Grace Education Center in Ellsberg. Any updates there? I know that there was a meeting that MEC had announced yesterday to the community that he would be engaging the community because he feels as that the perpetrators are part of the community and somebody needs to say something.
Well, the meeting goes ahead. It will be at 5:30 in the evening. The members of the community are alerted. They will be coming in numbers. We are hopeful that probably some will then assist us with information that might assist the investigation or assist the police. So that meeting goes ahead. And as far as the pronouncements, like as he already undertook yesterday to say 2:01, he will be pronouncing. Unfortunately, because of the administrative processes that we had to undertake, and we're talking processes that we cannot short-circuit. Once you short-circuit, the process might come back to bite you. So we were very cautious, and probably by today, we should be in a position to say what is the way forward when coming to the Latisha Janssen case.
And just before I let you go, there was the scholar transport issue that MEC had also made a pronouncement yesterday that today none of his learners would be on those buses. What happened there this morning?
Well, that I can confirm. I mean, we have changed the service provider. It's just that we wanted to announce, everything at once today. But I can confirm, we have a new service provider that is in there. That one is gone.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mabona. And as you heard there, Desiree, Mr. Steve Mabona, Department of Education in Gauteng, the spokesperson there, just telling us, we did hear Mr. Lesufi yesterday saying that learners from today in that area will no longer be using that transport, that there was an issue there in terms of the transport changing times nilly-willy and not necessarily probably communicating it in the manner which was found to be acceptable. Could also be aware of the changed times in terms of collection and the pickups in the mornings. But we will be here from 12 o'clock giving you everything that happens here in terms of the memorial service of Mr. Enock Mpianzi. And we've also heard that the investigations are definitely underway. We know that the lawyers did go to Nyathi. You would remember that previously they were not allowed, not necessarily the lawyers, but the Human Rights Commission as well as the parents weren't allowed onto the property. Locked and they had to be jumping fences to get into that area where young Enock drowned in that river there, the Crocodile River in Brits.
In fact, on that note, Mahlako, a lot of concerns that the memorial service comes against the background of not sufficient information being provided about what actually transpired on that day. Is this this hanging fact affecting the mood at the moment?
Well, definitely, I think a lot of unanswered questions, especially from the side of the school, because if there is anyone that will be able to give us a clear indication of what actually happened to young Enock, it would have to be the school, because he was in the care of the school when this happened. So there were statements that were released and a lot of people feeling that was not satisfactory. We know that MEC Lesufi had met with parents last week Friday, what was meant to be an open meeting between the parents as well as education officials. The media was then not allowed inside there, but the brief that we got from MEC after that was that he used this as I think he called it a healing session, saying that he treated it as a healing session. A lot of parents disgruntled, but there was also that issue where parents felt that they were being targeted as a school. They felt that it was very uncomfortable for their learners to have to walk in the morning and walk in with cameras, and feeling that there was what was they deemed sort of like a harassment of sort from the media. So we'll definitely wait to hear from the school. I understand that the school principal will be taking the podium as to whether he'll actually be able to shed light as to what happened. I'm not even sure which school principal. I'm going to assume it's the deputy principal, because we do know that last week the principal here was then suspended, and he definitely probably won't be here. But if he does come, a great opportunity for him if he indeed does take that platform.
Well, Mahlako Komane will be bringing us that story and that event in a good 50 minutes or so.